And we are back with another episode of Straight Out the Lou. As always, I'm Dylan, joined by Luke and Chris. Today we have a big day as we recap Championship Sunday, which saw the GOAT Tom Brady taking down choker Aaron Rodgers. And then in the AFC, of course, we see baby GOAT Patrick Mahomes beating the Bills, rightly so. And we will have big GOAT versus baby GOAT coming up in 2 weeks. Today we also have a little bit of the NBA to talk about, some NCAA basketball talk, some drama going on out there in Michigan, right, Chris? And then a little bit of NHL talk as the Bruins seem to be back on track. And also we will talk about my take from yesterday, which is that the NFC runs through Levi's from here on out. All right, guys. Yesterday, the Bucs and the Packers faced off at Lambeau. We had the warm weather team in Tampa Bay. Going into Lambeau, it was below freezing there, below 32 degrees Fahrenheit. But the Tampa Bay Buccaneers came to play and came away with the W and are now on to the Super Bowl, being the first ever team to host the Super Bowl in their home stadium. So, Luke, obviously you have Tom Brady behind you there. What did you see out of the GOAT yesterday?
Not too much. First half, he was very, very good. Obviously, he first drive, spectacular, gets 7 on the board right away. That's a good tempo setter against a team that's, known for, being in the loud stadium, having their home field advantage. So going up 7-0 was huge for them. He made some key throws in the first half, I thought. Obviously, the throw to Scotty Miller, which obviously it was a defensive – that was on the defense, but – he's making that pass. He's wide open. It's a touchdown. Like great pass. And then in the second half came around, defense gets the turnover early. Aaron Jones, who fumbled 3 times actually in the game, who had a horrible night. That's why they drafted, of course, star running back from Boston College, A.J. Dillon. Not a big deal. But, Brady hits Brate wide open on the play action pass, touchdown, and then he throws 3 picks. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt that maybe Mike Evans probably should have caught that. That ball was thrown high. But that was the only interception, though, I would say, that really it was like, oh, boy, that could have cost him the game. Because they were in command when he threw the other 2, and despite them being horrible throws, that is awful, it didn't hurt them in the sense that they were more so punts on third downs, if you know what I mean.
Yeah,
the Mike Evans one was bad. That one probably would have wrapped up the game if he makes that throw right there. He's probably walking into the end zone.
Well, that one interception he had did lead to a touchdown. The other two led to Green Bay punts. The first interception was pretty consequential.
But in a sense, not really, because they were up 2 scores. So, yes, it hurt them because you never want to throw a pick. But he didn't throw a pick when it was 28-23,
Fair enough. Yeah, what I saw, I said this on our Instagram in the caption that I wrote underneath the picture of Kevin King, the man who blew the game for the Green Bay Packers.
What happens when you pick against Brady? You get these.
I will stand with my statement that this game was not won by the Buccaneers, but it was lost by Kevin King and the Packers. I think that Kevin King obviously gave up 2 huge touchdowns in the first half.
So you're just going to discredit the Bucs defense like that?
No. See.
So then you can't say
the Bucs defense came to play, but it wasn't that they won the game. It was that they limited Rodgers. And then what put the Bucs over the top for the victory was Kevin King's mishaps and Matt LaFleur being a terrible coach.
All right. The Chiefs won the Super Bowl last year because of Jimmy G's mishaps on offense and Richard Sherman not being able to cover anybody in the fourth quarter. So the Niners lost that. The Chiefs didn't actually win it. So you can play that game all you want, dude. A win is a win. I'm sorry. Brady was awful. He was the worst player on the field in the second half yesterday. Nobody's denying that. But the guy just wins. It doesn't matter. None of those turnovers really cost them the game. That did not cost them the game. When it mattered the most, he hit Mike Evans for 8 yards, which was a huge play. I mean, obviously the play calling by LaFleur there is questionable, but Huge play to get it to second and short, and then all you need is one more first down. Gets the job done. That's all you can ask for. He gets a win.
No, it's a W in the it's obviously a 1 in the win column. It's a 1 underneath the W there. They got the W, but it was handed to them. It wasn't like both teams were playing their A games, but I do think that the Packers played the worst game. Chris, what did you see?
Yeah, I got a couple things to say here. First of all, Brady turns a 7-9 team into a Super Bowl team. I mean, he threw the 3 picks. I'm looking at 2 of them. The last one I thought was like a punt, as you said, Luke. It was third down. He just threw it up to Evans. He was going to get sacked. And the other one Evans should have caught, I think. But I do want to talk about Rodgers, because every time Rodgers wins, he's like, oh, my God, Aaron Rodgers is the greatest thrower of the football of all time. How many times have we had to hear that? Every time he loses, it's somebody else's fault. He got the ball twice in the fourth quarter, down 5 points, 3 and out. He threw the pick before halftime, led to points. I know that was on the defense, but still, don't throw the interception.
See, Chris, I agree with you, but this is where you're contradicting yourself on Russell Wilson.
Well, listen,
You're always blaming somebody else for when they lose.
Okay, fine, but Russell Wilson is nobody's ever.
I agree with you on the Rodgers statement. You just got to be consistent.
I'm just talking about the media's coverage of it, because nobody ever says Russell Wilson's the greatest thrower of the football of all time. And Aaron Rodgers, oh my God, he's 7-8 in his last 15 playoff games. He's 1-4 in conference championships. At some point, this guy has to get some blame, and then he goes to the podium and asks for sympathy. Oh, I don't know. I'll probably be back this year. It's so gutting. Well, maybe if you can convert in the fourth quarter, you would have won the game. I'm so tired of Aaron Rodgers and his garbage.
Let's not act like the Bucs gave him a surplus of chances. I mean,
yes.
the 2 picks that Dylan said they didn't convert on, and just in general, Brady not being able to move the ball in the other possessions in the second half. You gotta come back there. Like, that's unacceptable.
Yeah, I totally agree there. I did see Rodgers making some big mistakes in this game. Obviously, the 3 passes to Devontae Adams there at the end of the first half, not converting on any of those. That was awful. He had Adam Lazard. I saw it even during the play. I saw Lazard wide open over the middle in the front of the end zone, and he's trying to force it into the back with Devontae running towards the stands, double covered.
How about third and goal, not running to the pylon there? I thought that's the whole point.
That was the
whole point. Oh, you need a mobile quarterback so they can, he literally didn't take – that was almost picked.
That was the worst throw I saw him make all day.
I really wish that was picked, because then the media would be able to be like on Chris's point here. Like in LaFleur's defense, do you trust the guy who just threw 3 incomplete passes in a row from the 8-yard line, third and goal? Like, I would have sent him back.
Okay.
I personally would have sent him back out there, but I can see why there's some hesitation there where you got 4 timeouts with a 2-minute warning.
But the thing is, you have to score a touchdown regardless.
No, I know. I get it. But especially when you're playing Tom Brady, you don't want to give him the ball back and give him a chance to end the game. I get it. But I would have went for it, but I can see why there was some hesitation and why he went and kicked the field goal.
Would you like to try your chances against a solid Bucs defense that was killing the O-line for the Packers?
I would have went for it.
Exactly. Yeah, LaFleur fumbled that. You have to drive the whole field with at most 1 time out there at the end of the game to get a touchdown.
He's getting way too much hate, because it's not like Rodgers was dicing on that drive. Like, that was a slow drive that he didn't perform great on that drive. He didn't make some great throws on that drive.
It doesn't really matter like how he was performing on the drive, but you look like, ignore what happened before that decision, but look what he set himself up to have to do with that decision.
No, I agree.
That's my problem with it.
I agree. You have to go for it. And even if you don't get the 2, say you get it, the touchdown, if you don't get the 2, you still have 4 timeouts with the 2-minute warning and your 3 timeouts, and you only have to kick a field goal at that point. So I would have went for it. I think it's a no-brainer, but I can understand the hesitation. I'm saying he's getting a little too much hate.
You can't put trust in a defense with Kevin King out there. With Kevin King out there with Kevin King out there guarding top receivers in the NFL. You can't trust that defense. That dude.
Hey, don't be down 8, Rodgers. Score the ball.
Just say something about the Bucs game plan too. I have to think that Arians and Leftwich just like sat around at practice all week. I don't think they did anything, because the Patriots game plan it's so similar. The Bucs game plan in this game was, especially at the beginning of the game, was so similar to that AFC Championship game. They were running the ball on early downs. They were draining the clock. Brady was getting the big third downs. Like, I just think he made the entire game plan. I don't think Arians honestly, I don't think he does anything. He's useless. And we're talking about LaFleur. I mean, Brady has Bruce Arians as his coach, and they're in the Super Bowl. LaFleur's 26-6 in his career as a head coach. I mean, he made a bad decision there, but he's not like he can't coach.
I just see the Packers always having a lot of talent, obviously having one of the top 3 quarterbacks in the NFL. And year after year for the last decade, this team has choked. Every single time they get close, they choke. I think it's the leadership and just who's running this organization. I can't really get behind this coaching staff right now. Rodgers, all signs point to him being a selfish player. His demeanor on the field, what you hear about him off the field with his family and such. He seems very selfish. He's always getting really frustrated. It sets a toxic culture where guys like Aaron Jones start fumbling and then they're like, oh, my chest hurts. I can't play in the NFC Championship. It's soft. It's a soft culture and a selfish culture. And it's disappointing because Rodgers is a generational guy and he's out here 1-4, like you said, Chris, and NFC title games, and then 7-8 in his last 15 playoff games. It's too bad. It's really a waste. That's how I see it. So later in the night, we had Patrick Mahomes being Patrick Mahomes. No doubt in my mind, even after they went down 9-0, that team was going to get ran, the Bills. Buffalo presented themselves as, again, the most lucky, overrated championship team in recent memory. Josh Allen should have thrown at least 5 interceptions in that game. I think he had 3 dropped interceptions thrown straight to defenders. I'm not impressed with the Bills. Obviously, people like the Bills because of the culture that they bring and their social media presence with the Bills Mafia and all of that. But what do you guys see with the Bills going forward? What are they going to look like in the next 3 to 5 years?
Yeah, I mean, I like the Bills and their roster, but again, like I said at the beginning of the playoffs, I didn't know about Josh Allen in the playoffs, and I know they got to the AFC Championship, but I mean, he was okay in the Colts game, and they won that game. They shouldn't have won, but they won the game. They scored 10 points as an offense in the Ravens game. So, I mean, okay, they won the game, and he was horrible yesterday, and he was horrible last year in the playoffs. So I still don't know about him in the playoffs, and he's still – I know he had a great year. I'm still just not buying in yet on him being this generational quarterback that everybody says he is.
I like the roster that Buffalo has. I like the coaching. I like the direction they're trending. But this had to be their year because I think Miami's coming. I don't think Bill's going to be messing around for much longer. You got to think he's going to be back in the division picture soon. So this year and maybe next year might be the window because Miami is a really good football team. And you got to see if Tua can develop. I get that. But Josh Allen, he just struggles in the playoffs. I think that's pretty clear now. And he's not a generational quarterback. I mean, he's going to be like Andrew Luck. Like, you see him, he's like, oh, wow, he's really good. But it's just like he just never makes it to the big stage.
Yeah, I mean, especially with Bill. Bill's hanging around right now because he wants to win. And now with Brady making the Super Bowl without him, he's got a huge chip on his shoulder, right? So I'm looking at the Patriots this offseason, and I'm thinking that they're going to make a lot of noise. I think that they're going to definitely go after one of the 3 big quarterbacks who seem to be available. 2 of them for sure, in Watson and Stafford. Rodgers, if I was him, I'm getting out of there. So look for the Patriots to make a splash. I think that they're going to be right back in it.
Just a quick proposition. Gilmore 2 first-round picks for Watson. Who says no?
2 first-round picks?
Watson says no with his no trade clause.
No trade clause, you think?
Yeah, why would he want to come to the Patriots? They're a complete mess. I don't think they're going to do anything.
Sign Juju. Bring in a wide receiver in the draft.
I don't get to play with Brady. I wouldn't want to play for Bill and have to go through all that. I mean, after he goes 7-9 this year, he's 0-7, winning divisions without Brady. I mean, he hasn't proven anything without Brady. And I know I'm the biggest Brady, whatever, Bobo there is that, but
Yeah, but if you're a great quarterback, if Deshaun Watson thinks he's a great quarterback, then I think he would go to New England and prove that. I think you go to New England and prove that. He can go a lot of places, but I could see potentially landing in New England. I don't think he's the front runner at all, though.
Yeah, it's a possibility, but I mean, you leave the Texans. Obviously, management is number one, but he also doesn't have weapons around him. It's a shaky franchise in terms of the roster, shaky team in terms of the roster. So do you want to go from a shaky roster to another shaky roster? Obviously, the management and the coaching is a whole different situation, but I don't know. I kind of have to agree with Chris there. I don't think that it's a top spot for him, really.
I just want to touch on the Chiefs now a little quickly. Do you guys think Patrick Mahomes is getting a little slightly overrated now?
How?
I think he's the best player in the league. But you got these media guys like only Patrick Mahomes can do this. I'm sorry. He flipped the ball to McCole Hardman on one, and he ran for 80 yards. He threw a out route to Tyreek Hill for 7 yards that then ended up with on the 2-yard line. Kelsey's wide open every single play. He's great at making decisions. He's got the best arm in the league probably. His talent's obviously there, but I really want to see him when he goes through that stretch that Brady went through in. All the weapons are gone because that contract's kicking in next year. They can't pay everybody, and they're going to have to rely on the drafting. I want to see if he can do that in that stretch from like year 5 to year 15. I want to see. If he does, he's the greatest.
And let's remember that Patrick Mahomes has Andy Reid, who's a great offensive mind, and Andy Reid made Alex Smith and Donovan McNabb into great quarterbacks. So I'm not saying Mahomes is either one of those guys, but I think we have to wait. I don't know how long Reid's going to be there. I don't know how long the weapons are going to be there. Like Luke said, he's obviously a great quarterback, but, we'll see when they have to start paying guys.
Yeah, I mean, you can say, like, oh, what would he do without these guys? What would he do without them, right? But he has them. He has them, right? So he's going to do what he's going to do with them.
Again, but I'm not denying it, though. He's the best quarterback in the league. He's shown he's the best quarterback in the league, and he's never, choked in the game to this point. Like, when they need him to step up, he steps up. So it's impressive what I've seen from him. I think he's the best. Let's not say he's the greatest quarterback we've ever seen of all time yet. Let's relax.
I don't think anybody's saying that. I think people are saying he's possibly the most talented of all time.
Yeah, he is.
And I think that's hard to disagree with. But nobody's calling him the GOAT.
Different media market out there, I guess.
I mean, I'm looking at ESPN. I'm looking at CBS Sports. National media. None of them are saying that.
If he wins the Super Bowl, just wait.
I mean, it'll be an interesting conversation, but I mean, Brady is 43. Obviously, he's unreal at 43. But if he beats Brady at 43 years old, you can't call him the GOAT. He's not close.
I agree. I just think he's getting slightly overrated. That's all.
All right. So 2 weeks from yesterday, you guys like the Bucks?
We'll have to see. Well, I'll make my prediction next week. I'm gonna think it out. We'll have to see. It's gonna be a great game.
I just like you guys were saying yesterday, guys were wide open, and Mahomes makes plays and wins games when guys aren't wide open. So even if the Bucks defense is able to scheme up and lock guys down, I still see Mahomes making plays. Will Brady be able to make more plays than him? I'm not sure.
Third down at the end of the game, give me Tom Brady.
But that's the thing, though.
He's not getting blown out, dude. He's not getting blown out.
I agree.
So it's going to be a close game. It's going to be a close game, and he's going to tear apart the Kansas City defense like he always does. He owns that defense.
You guys like the over. You like the over then. High scoring.
No, I don't. I don't think it's going to be that high scoring. I think it's going to be like a 24-28 game. I mean, it was 27-24 when they met in Tampa. I mean, they gave up 3 touchdowns in the first half. They kind of shut them down in the second half. So I don't think Tampa Bay is going to struggle with Mahomes. I think he's great. So I think they're obviously going to make a lot of big plays and they're going to score. But I wouldn't be concerned. What did they have, 10 points in the 49ers last year? Obviously, I think the 49ers defense is better than the Bucs. But if the Bucs scheme well, they'll be fine.
Big concern for the Chiefs.
There's a lot of footage. There's a lot of footage of the Chiefs getting shut down. Like, you can look at the Bills scheme from 2018 AFC Championship game, first half, 0 points. The Niners scheme only held them to 10 until like 6 minutes left in the fourth. There's a lot of film you can look at of how to shut down the Chiefs. It's possible. So I wouldn't say like Mahomes is going to have the greatest game ever. It's possible.
Well, clearly the Bills weren't able to build off that film yesterday.
The Bills' defense is so overrated. You see, the Colts run all over them and Phillip Rivers making these impossible passes to Zach Pascal and T.Y. Hilton. That defense was not ready. And the offense obviously wasn't with, they just took away Diggs. But that can't happen against Tampa Bay.
But breaking news today with Eric Fisher tearing his ACL. That is huge. Because yesterday, without David Bakhtiari, the Packers were getting torn. Their O-line looked awful. Rodgers had no time in the first half.
Blindside too, right?
Blindside, left tackle. That's a tough one to replace.
Like that.
And he's the leader of your offensive line. That's a whole other dynamic.
I like that. We'll see.
It looks good for the Bucs. Chris, you're on that same wave though. Yeah, Brady probably pulling it out in a close one, most likely.
Yeah, I mean the Chiefs are just so much better overall, but I'm just not. I'm not picking against Tom.
Yeah, I mean it makes sense. I can't really disagree. Yeah, Packers beat themselves. I can't get over that. Okay. Do you guys want to talk about what the NFC runs through from here on out, or where
it runs through Tampa Bay? As you can see right here, this trophy would signify who the winner of the NFC championship is, and that would be the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And I can give you an example of why right now, currently, it doesn't run through the San Francisco 49ers like you would like to say. First of all, they went 6-10. Second of all, the Miami Heat just won the Eastern Conference Finals. It ran through them in the bubble when they won the Eastern Conference Finals. Does the East run through with the Miami Heat still?
They have to make the playoffs first for that to happen.
Exactly. It doesn't run through the Miami Heat.
Exactly. So
conference
championships don't matter then.
Talk to me in April when teams revamp their rosters and, coaches are everywhere. And, dude, talk to me in April.
Well,
as of right now, Chris, go ahead.
Well, I know what you're going to say about San Francisco, and I'm just going to list off the teams I would take over them next year right now.
Seattle, you're wrong, though.
Tampa. I'll take the Rams. The Packers if Rodgers is there. And in the regular season, I'll take Seattle. Not in the playoffs, but in the regular season because they'll just find ways to win games. Their roster's not good enough to win the playoffs, though.
At the moment, I'll take the Bucs and the Packers, and that's it. Maybe the football team.
I told you guys this off screen. The Niners going into next year are going to have a better roster in the Super Bowl run. If they keep Trent Williams, they're going to have a better roster, better receivers, just as good of a D-line with Bosa coming back for his second full season. You're going to have Fred Warner being the number one guy in the NFL at that position, middle linebacker. The secondary is going to be just fine with Verrett coming back. Mosley might draft somebody at 12. It doesn't look like we're going to have to give up that number 12 pick to get a quarterback. Peter King today saying that all we have to do to get Stafford most likely is a second rounder and then ditch Garoppolo. So this team, the NFC is going to run through Levi's. This team is by far on paper the best team. And when they weren't by far the best team on paper 2 years ago, but still a very talented team, the NFC ran through Levi's.
All right, when you beat this guy, let me know.
Okay, Dylan.
Then we'll talk.
All right. I just can't get over this. I know you hate this argument, but if Garoppolo's to the quarterback, if they have a different quarterback, it's a different conversation. But if Garoppolo's to the quarterback, they're literally the same team as the Rams. They're the exact same team, except the Rams have a better coach. So I'll take the Rams. Why wouldn't the Rams be better than the Niners? They're literally the exact same team.
Because they don't have a better offensive scheme. They don't. They just don't. They don't have better players on offense.
The Niners have better offensive weapons.
Niners have better offensive weapons, and the Niners defense the Niners defense is on par with the Rams defense when healthy.
Chris, what are you talking about? George Kittle, Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk. What are you talking about?
Cooper Kupp and Robert Woods. They've it's been tough with Goff throwing to them.
Those guys get shut down. Shut down when teams want to shut them down. They shut them down. When teams
you say it's tough. You say it's tough for those guys, but you're shitting on Jimmy G. How is it not tough for them then?
It is. That's why they're the exact same team. They both the quarterbacks suck.
You're wrong.
And everybody else is good, but the Rams have a better coach, so I'll take the Rams.
The Rams do not have a better coach.
Yeah, they do. McVay's better.
Why do they have a better coach?
Because McVay's better than Shanahan.
That makes no sense.
Yeah. McVay's better than Shanahan.
Makes no sense. Just a fact. It's true.
McVay takes his offensive scheme from Shanahan. He worked under Shanahan.
I don't know what he does or what he doesn't do. I just know he's a better coach.
And Bill worked under Bill Parcells, so who's the better coach?
I know this. McVay, I know he's an offensive guy, but at least he's involved in the game. Kyle Shanahan, at the end of on defense, when your team's on defense, his head is just buried in his play sheet. He's not even a head coach, he's a coordinator. That's why McVay's a better coach.
No, players love Shanahan. They rally around Shanahan. Shanahan creates a culture that people want to be around. McVay, toxic with his quarterback. Him and Jared Goff are falling out right now.
Quarterback sucks. They have a quarterback.
How many times has Shanahan missed the playoffs since he's been with the Niners?
Look at the team he inherited.
How many times has Shanahan missed the playoffs when he's been with the Niners?
3.
Okay, and how many is McVay?
I don't know. I'm not a Rams fan.
1. So I think McVay is better.
Look at who he inherited.
Who did he inherit? A 4-12 team?
Gurley. A solid
an all-star running back. Oh, okay. Dude, who cares?
Gurley had some of the best seasons a running back has ever had under McVay.
Under McVay?
Yes.
He had him under McVay, huh?
Look at what these other running backs are doing. They're not doing what Gurley did.
Who did he have the great running seasons under?
McVay, but he was a solid.
Okay.
But did you watch him play?
Did you watch
him play? Did you watch him play? It wasn't just the schemes. It was the talent that guy had. It was the explosiveness.
Running the ball is all running the ball is all schemes, dude. It's all blocking schemes. What are you talking about?
That's not true. When the guy's in the open field, he's got to beat 2 guys.
It's enough of this. It's enough of this. We'll talk about it in April, dude. Relax. Just relax.
I see Jimmy G not being a Niner next year. I really think that they're gonna go in on Stafford, and it's gonna be pretty.
But Jimmy G currently is your quarterback, so it doesn't run through Levi. He's currently your quarterback.
I think the argument still stands even with him there. Going into his second full season with the Super Bowl roster, number 1 seed team.
We move on.
Tom Brady or Jimmy Garoppolo?
What is that?
You're the one who's saying it runs through the NFC Championship game. Tom Brady or Jimmy Garoppolo?
Well, Brady's about to lose some key players on defense this offseason, so I don't know.
Who?
Do you want me to look it up? I saw it on Instagram.
Nobody they can't just draft and then re-sign. I mean, Godwin's going to leave, but that's fine because he's cost the team.
Move on. This is a ridiculous subject here.
I know.
They're losing. They're going to lose Shaquille Barrett. They're going to lose Levante David, Ndamukong Suh.
They're not going to lose Levante David.
I bet you they do.
Sure.
You they do.
Sure, then.
The dude's 31 years old. He's going to try to sign for as much money as he can. He's not staying. Who else? Leonard Fournette might be gone. I don't know, man. I don't know. NFC runs through Levi's.
3 players, they can just draft them.
Levante David is arguably the best player on the defense.
I would say Devin White is, and I don't know.
Devin White.
Arguably.
I want to hear Chris talk about Michigan basketball. I've been waiting to hear this all day. And hockey, of course. The hockey team's out.
Yeah, I mean, Michigan was shut down. The athletic department was shut down for 2 weeks, thanks to the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services. So I want to point out the men's and women's basketball teams had 0 positive COVID tests, but there was this new strain apparently, and there was a couple positive tests elsewhere in the athletic department. So therefore, the state decided they need to shut down the athletic department for 2 weeks.
Where do the positive tests lie?
I have no idea.
Not in the basketball team or the hockey teams, though.
But they still can't play.
Bizarre.
No, can't play.
That doesn't make sense.
It is a little bizarre.
Makes no sense.
See, that's where people start to become too soft on the COVID stuff, when they see some sort of minute correlation between one group of people and the other, and then it all shuts down.
Yep.
It's unreal. You see it in business. Now you're seeing it in college sports. That's sad. That's really sad.
One thing I do want to say about college basketball is it would be a shame if we don't get a Gonzaga Baylor game at some point this year.
Yeah.
It would be a shame. Those 2 teams are so good. It would be an absolute duel. It would be awesome.
Did they not they were rescheduled, right? Because they got canceled?
I don't think – did they get rescheduled? I don't think they got rescheduled.
They didn't. I thought
No,
they did.
they're already in conference play, so.
That's tough. That's too bad. So you guys like those two teams, though, to win the tournament most likely?
Baylor. I'll take Baylor against anybody. I like Iowa, too. They had a tough loss this week, but I like them. And if Michigan plays the way they are, they can beat a lot of teams, too. But I don't know how they're going to come out of this COVID thing. And I get it.
Despite their – yeah.
Spread. Yeah, I get it. I understand. But I just don't understand why they got shut down. There's no positive tests in the basketball program.
Obviously, those 4 teams that Chris just listed, and even though despite their record not being ideal, Illinois is a tournament team. You can just tell by the way they play. They're a team that just thrives in the tournament, or they could be a flop. So watch out for Illinois.
But Duke, Kentucky, UNC.
Oh God, no. They're all the blue bloods are looking awful. It's a weird time in college basketball.
Do you think it's because the one and done guys aren't really opting into college basketball anymore? Or?
I think it's more so the one and done guys didn't get their training camps this year, and they couldn't even develop them in the slightest. And you're just seeing these guys, high school basketball players, going up against men.
It just proves experience wins in college basketball. There's a lot of experienced teams this year, especially in the Big Ten. There's a lot of experienced teams.
You need experience to win. It's how it works.
Mental toughness, baby. Mental toughness. NBA this week. The Warriors had a tough week. They got blown out by the Jazz, although their plane did land at 2 a.m. the night before the game. That's tough. They had some flight difficulties, some maintenance stuff.
Not act like Kelly Oubre is not at the bar at like 4 a.m, though.
It's also not act like the Jazz aren't just better than the Warriors.
Yeah.
The Jazz could be a contending team this year. I mean, they have guys 1 through 7. 1 through 7, they shoot the 3-ball well. Donovan Mitchell is a problem. Shaq just lit a fire under his ass by calling him not what he's supposed to be or whatever on that post-game interview. They're an old team with most guys being around the age 30, 31 besides Mitchell, but they're a solid team. And this is their window right now, and they know it, so they're motivated.
I don't know if you guys saw on past Saturday the Miami Heat Brooklyn Nets game. You guys watch those highlights at all?
Not really, no.
I recommend watching from 5 minutes at the end of the game on. Kyrie Irving was unstoppable. Obviously, we didn't have really any of our guys in there. Hero, Butler, those guys were out. Rodgers was barely playing. They were giving him slight minutes. Bam went for 41, and he's hitting mid-range jump shots from 18 feet. He's taking 3-pointers, and the release is good. He's turning into Anthony Davis, like I said. But that end of the game was wild. They were down 8 with like 30 seconds left, and Robinson hit, his classic bank in and 1 3-pointer, and he hit like 3 of those, and like the Nets kept making their free throws, and the Heat eventually had a chance to cut it within 1, but Bam missed his free throw with like 4.2 left or something. It was wild. It was one of the craziest NBA games I've seen. Great content. Other than that, I've been pretty bored with the NBA. I'm not going to lie.
Well, the mighty Nets get swept by Cavs last week, and I know how great the Nets are. And they lose 2 games to the Cavs, and the Cavs go into the Garden last night, and they just get smacked by the Celtics without Tatum. So I don't know how the Cavs beat the Nets. I just don't understand.
Not good. Sexton just got hot, dude. It happens in basketball. You get a player that gets hot.
Embarrassing. The Nets, they're just not going to take the regular season seriously. And what's going to happen is maybe they'll have fans in the playoffs, and maybe it'll cost them in the playoffs. It drives me crazy, these NBA teams that just decide, I'm not going to play. No, just not going to take tonight off. It's just the players. It drives me crazy.
Yeah. Luke, why have the Heat not played with their full roster at all this year?
COVID and injuries. Butler was injured at the beginning, and then he played 1 game against the Celtics, and then he got COVID.
Dude,
and Hero has a neck injury.
Florida, no COVID restrictions. My parents just got back from a little trip there, and they said nobody wears masks. All the clubs are open. That's a trap for NBA players.
Yeah, Hero just turned 21, so we'll have to see.
That's a trap. Yeah, the Heat need the bubble.
They'll be fine. I just want to see him play with their full roster to then give a full assessment on them. I mean, they play the Nets again tonight, so we'll see.
All right, you want to talk some NHL real quick? The Bruins on the come up again?
Yeah, real quick. Number 1 team in the Eastern Conference. All this, the Flyers. You can't beat the Flyers. Yeah, how are you? Swept them. How are you? Come to the Garden, caught a hot, can't keep his glove up. 11 goals. How are you? Not a big deal. Charlie Coyle, one-handed tip, the pride of Weymouth, Massachusetts. I mean, come on now. Too easy. 6-1 at home. You got guys breaking their sticks on the ice of the Flyers. What a mess down there. The Bruins are back. David Pastrnak practiced today for the first time without restrictions. He might play tomorrow. We got a home-to-home with the Penguins. Play them on Tuesday and Thursday. Another good team. Obviously, they got Sid the Kid. They got Malkin, 2 superstars. So we'll have to see how they do this weekend. But the Flyers, what a joke. What a joke they were. Oh, my God. I thought we were going to lose to them in the first game. But, yeah, I really like where the Bruins are right now. I'm not going to get too high on them, but that was a really good win. 2 really good wins.
Bruins are on the up. It's good for hockey. Good for Boston.
Good for Boston. I will say, though, Charlie McAvoy sucks. He's pissing me off. He's supposed to be this superstar defenseman the Bruins have, and he makes a mistake every single time he's on the ice. Like, literally every time he's on the ice. It just drives me nuts. But, they're going to be fine. I think they will split with the Penguins this week, Tuesday and Thursday. I think they'll split. They'll get 1, and then maybe an overtime loss. But very excited about the Bruins. Your boy in San Jose, Brent Burns, also scored an insane goal yesterday.
Let's go.
Goal of the year, maybe. Insane. I've never seen – that was one of the best goals I've ever seen. I'm not going to lie. That was insane. But, yeah.
I told you 3 games in, you can't panic.
Yeah. No. It's just how it is out here. It's just, I had to panic. We looked awful against the Devils, but we'll see what we do upcoming. Obviously, Pastrnak, top 10 player in the league. So we'll be good.
All right, I think that'll do it for this episode of Straight Out the Lou. Thank you for joining us today, and look forward to possibly another episode later in the week. Definitely one next week to preview the Super Bowl. Thanks for tuning in.